We have a quick turnaround in this week's MLS action with MLS Matchday 14 kicking off just a few days after the weekend's games. They're all going down on Wednesday, May 15th. We have 13 games, 26 teams in action. Now, if the midweek edition of MLS Rivalry Week is anything like the weekend, we could be in for some more craziness and more specifically some more goals, maybe some more road wins. In fact, 4 games this weekend ended with a 3-2 win for the away team, and actually 8 road teams got the win overall. It was the second most goals in a single day for MLS history. There was 52 goals on Saturday, add in the one Sunday game, and we saw 55 goals over the weekend slate of games. And in all of those goals, though, unfortunately, the Whitecaps couldn't get just one to give us a sweep of the picks, but I'll still take a 3-1 parlay record any day of the week. And while we're at it, let's get into the quick turnaround for Wednesday. Let's try to get some more winners here. If you want more MLS content, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel to get more. I'm going to do 3 parlays for Wednesday's action. Let's start it off with Orlando and Inter Miami. There were 3 meetings between these teams last season, with Orlando winning the first one, 3-1 in Miami, but that was in May. That was before Messi and friends arrived. In the League's Cup, Miami won 3-1 at home. Then back in MLS, they drew 1-1 in Orlando. This season, they've already played one time in Miami on March 2nd, and that was a blowout win for Miami, winning 5-0. Messi had 2 goals. Luis Suarez had 2 as well. Robert Taylor also had 1 as well. Now, back in Orlando, I expect the Lions to have a better showing here. That doesn't necessarily mean a win, but I think they could at least score, assuming Miami wins or at least scores 2 goals. This could very easily be a good both teams to score and over 2.5 bet. Miami has seen that bet cash in 8 straight of their games. They fell behind 2-0 this weekend against Montreal on Saturday, but that may have been maybe the worst thing Montreal could have done, as Miami came to life, stormed back, and won 3-2. The previous scores for Miami have been 6-2, 4-1, 3-1, and 3-2, all wins, plus a 3-1 loss, 2-2 draw, and a 2-1 loss. Miami has scored in 16 of 17 across all competitions, but they've given up a goal now in 14 straight. Orlando is also off a 3-2 road win playing in Philly, and they are 3-2 in their last 7. They've scored in 6 of those 7. They've scored multiple goals in 4, and there was finally a Luis Muriel sighting, the new DP who had done very little so far for Orlando. Finally scored for the Lions this weekend, and he scored twice. They also stopped the PK late in that game to preserve the win. Now, Miami just keeps falling behind in games, but with the roster they have, that just doesn't really matter. They'll likely get scored on again here, being on the road, but you just know they're going to score. Certainly, I expect someone to get a second. So let's kick off this parlay with both teams to score and over 2.5. And to add one more selection to that parlay, let's go FC Cincinnati and Atlanta United. Since he already beat Atlanta once this season, 2-1 at the Benz in Atlanta back on April 20th. That's the 4th straight. Both teams scoring over 2.5 game between them. Atlanta has not won any of those games either. Atlanta on the road is also rarely a good bet. They're 0-2 this season. They've been scored on just once, but they're not good right now, home or away. They've lost back-to-back MLS games, both at home, and they're winless in 6 MLS games as well. Back to their road form, though, and they're winless in 10 road MLS games if we go back to last season. And in all competitions, they only have 2 road wins in their last 23 games. Now, the reigning Supporters Shield winners, Cincinnati, went on the road in the Hell is Real Derby, and they beat reigning MLS Cup champs Columbus on Saturday 2-1. Lucio Ocasio had a goal and an assist. And new forward, new signing, Kevin Kelsey, opened his scoring account with a goal as well. He certainly gives Cincy a big attacking weapon that they were missing before. They've won 4 straight, Cincy, and in 16 games in all competitions, they've scored in 13 of those, plus also in 10 straight games, but in 5 of their last 6 have ended with 2-1 score lines one way or another. Prior to that, it was 1-1, so they have also been conceding in many games of late. Cincy should get the win. They should certainly score against this banged-up Atlanta backline, an Atlanta team that does not travel well. You could go both teams to score, Cincinnati to win by itself, or I just want to ask Cincinnati to score just to bump up the previous pick to get it around even money. We'll go Cincinnati to score. Orlando, Miami, both teams to score over 2.5 to come in at minus 105 odds. Parlay number 2, Philadelphia and New York City FC. 3 points are between these 2 teams, with New York in 5th, 17 points. Philly 9th with 14 points. New York won 3-2 in Toronto on Saturday. They've now won 4 of 5, and they have just 1 loss in 7. They have, though, given up a goal or more in 3 straight, and in 10 of 12 as well. The road has not been a good place for New York City bets this season, as they have just 2 wins, and if you go back even further, 2 wins in their last 24 road games in all competitions going back into last year. Now, in those 24 games, they've kept just 2 clean sheets and none in their past 11 games. Philly lost 3-2 at home to Orlando. They're slumping hard right now with 0 wins in 5, but there have been a ton of goals in Philly games at both ends of the field for the Union. Recent score lines have been 3-2, 2-2, 3-2, 2-1, 2-2, and 2-1. In 15 games across all competitions, Philly has scored in 13, only failing to score against Pachuca in the Champions Cup. They've also conceded, though, in 13 of their games as well. Philly has had a ton of success versus New York with recent wins over the last few years of 2-1, 3-1, 3-1, 2-1, and 2-0. Both teams to score bets have gone 7-1, though, in the past 8 head-to-heads. So again, some more both teams to score trends. Certainly, both teams to score could be the play here once again, but I'm just going to ask Philadelphia to score. The Union should also get back Julian Carranza after serving his suspension this weekend. Let's kick off this parlay with Philly to score. Next up, St. Louis and LAFC. St. Louis leads the league in draws with 7, but they did just play a team that had 2 wins, Chicago on Saturday, and they won 3-1. While they may not be winning a whole ton of games right now, St. Louis, they also aren't losing. They're undefeated in 5. They have just 2 losses in 13 games across all competitions as well. Scoring on Saturday at home means they've scored now in 6 of 7 overall home matches this season, as well as in 22 of 26 of their all-time games that they've played at home at City Park. LAFC blanked Vancouver 3-0 at home on Saturday. They have the league's best home record, 5-2-0, scoring 17 and allowing just 6. But LAFC are tied for the worst road record in MLS overall at 0-1-4, where they've been outscored 13-5, and they'll be on the road here once again. In the only ever 2 meetings last season between these teams, LAFC won 3-0 in LA, and they drew 0-0 in St. Louis. There was a preseason game this February as well, won 1-0 by St. Louis in St. Louis. This time, I think we could at least see a goal from both. LAFC are in good form right now. St. Louis might not be winning, but they're not losing. They always score at home. Let's go both teams to score. And leg 3 of this 3-leg parlay will be Real Salt Lake and Seattle Sounders. RSL coughed up the 2-0 road lead in LA and drew the Galaxy 2-2 on Saturday. But they're still first in the West, 3rd in the Supporter Shield standings. Chicho Arango scored 2 more goals. He's tied with Luis Suarez and Christian Benteke for the Golden Boot lead. As long as he's on the field, RSL will always have a chance. RSL had a loss in the U.S. Open Cup last week, but if we just look at MLS, they're undefeated in 8 games in all competitions. They've scored in 11 of their past 12 and multiple goals in 4 of 5. Seattle, after a very slow start, could be turning things around a little bit here. They had a win on Sunday against their rivals Portland on the road. They have wins in 3 of 4, and they're undefeated in 4 games overall. Now, it was 2-0 Seattle at home and 0-0 RSL at home in MLS last season before RSL won 3-0 at home in the League's Cup. RSL hasn't lost any of their past 14 home games to Seattle. That bodes well for them here. RSL, just the better team right now. Seattle does rarely get blown out. Let's just ask RSL to get 1 goal here playing at home. Let's go RSL to score. St. Louis and LAFC, both teams to score. Philly to score. That one would come in at plus 120 odds in that parlay. We'll do 2 more games, 1 2-leg parlay later in the evening here. This is a late game, Portland and San Jose. San Jose got their first road win since last August, playing on Saturday, going down early 2-0 in Colorado, but they stormed back to get the 3-2 win. They're now undefeated. Their undefeated streak is now hit 4 across all competitions, and the 11 goals they've scored in their last 5 is also impressive as well. But it also extends a streak of giving up a goal in every single MLS game this season. Plus, San Jose has given up multiple goals in 10 of 12. Portland will have the rest disadvantage. They were the one of 2 teams playing on Sunday. Like I said, they lost at home to Seattle 2-1. That extends their winless slide now to 9 games and a run of 8 games in a row where they've given up 2 or more goals. Now, only 2 of 12 Timbers games this season have not seen bets on both teams to score in over 2.5 cash. And those were Portland road games, away to Houston, away to Charlotte, 2 teams that are decent defensive sides. San Jose is most definitely not a team like that. These teams drew 0-0 in San Jose in MLS. Portland won 2-0 at home in the League's Cup at home, and Portland won 2-1 at home in MLS last season. If we look at some of their recent head-to-heads, now here's the fun fact. In 20 all-time home games against San Jose, the Timbers have never failed to score. They've also won 14 of 15 recent home games with the Quakes. The Quakes are the league's worst defense, so that scoring streak for Portland is surely going to continue. But then the Timbers are the league's 2nd worst defense themselves. Portland is the 4th best offense. San Jose is the 5th best when it comes to scoring. So we have a whole lot of trends here for scoring and conceding. San Jose gives up the 3rd most shots on target. Portland gives up the 4th most shots on target if we want to continue those stats. This game, in my mind, could be chaos. There should be goals all over the place. We have two teams that can't defend and two teams that have plenty of players capable of scoring. I'm going to go both teams to score and over 2.5 here for leg one. And that by itself could be enough. I see that at minus 125 at DraftKings. I'm going to do something simple for leg two just to get this to even money. We'll go to Minnesota United and the LA Galaxy. After being held off the score sheet in 2 games, LA fell behind 2-0 at home to RSL. They did fight back and tie that game basically on the last kick of the game. As usual, they pile up the chances. They had 23 shot attempts and 12 corners in that game. And the long run of both teams to score bets in Galaxy games, that may have ended, but they've still scored. In 10 of 12, they've scored multiple in 7 of 12. They've allowed a goal in 10 of 12, and they've allowed multiple goals in 7 of 12 as well. The Loons will be the fresh team here, having been off this weekend, the one team on the bye. They're still second in the West, actually tied with this LA Galaxy team with 20 points. Minnesota's now won 3 straight. They have just been average, though, so far at home, 2-2-1. They scored in all 5, but they've given up a goal in 4 of 5. These teams played some wild games last season. If we look back to their head-to-heads, LA won 4-3, Minnesota 5-2, both of those playing at home. If we look back even further, though, in other seasons, there's score lines of 3-2, 1-1, 3-3, and 3-0. This very well could be another high-scoring game. I am, for some reason, just a little concerned with LA scoring, having dipped just a bit of late. They did get 2 last game, but they did fall behind 2-0, and that second one was on the last basically kick of the game. And with Minnesota being fully rested and at home, for some reason, there's probably going to be a ton of goals, but I'm a little concerned maybe. So to get this just to even money, you could ask for just over 1.5 goals in the game. So at least 2 in case Minnesota happens to win, say 2-0. If we look at over 1.5 totals, the Galaxy are 10-2, Minnesota's 10-0. Or very similar price, you can just get, it's not going to pay much, but just Minnesota to score a goal. We'll bring this to plus 100, even money. So Minnesota to score, Portland, San Jose, both teams to score over 2.5. Coming in at even money. There we go. I've just broken down 7 games and 3 parlays for Wednesday's MLS picks. What do you like? Share your predictions down there in the comments. Give the video a like on your way out. And good luck with your MLS bets on Wednesday.